Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk here. And I will tell you more about our research powerhouse from the Netherlands and what our mission is, what our workflow is, and what our steps for the futures are. So here we go. So I have no disclosures. And I'm talking on behalf of Joni van Hilst. She's a doctor from the Netherlands, Amsterdam surgical resident, but she unfortunately had COVID, so she wasn't able to come. And I'm performing my PhD at the Amsterdam UMC with my primary supervisor, Mark Besselink. So let's go into our mission and the problems we were facing in the Netherlands. So the title of this talk was also involving a powerhouse, so I incorporated that in the talk because many small powerhouses have low efficiency, they cause high pollution, and few large powerhouses, they have much more efficiency and low pollution. So how does that compare to hospitals? Well, in the Netherlands, in 2004, we had a powerhouse problem clinically. We had 48 centers of less than 100 centers in the Netherlands performing pancreatoduodenectomy. So that is an average of 7 pancreatoduodenectomies per year per center. So we had a few large Whipple hospitals that had actually quite high volume, around 80 to up to 200, and they had more than twofold lower mortality rates. So I think that's analogous. Then we have had previous slides on this problem in the US. So that brings us to the history of the raw or the rough diamond in the Netherlands, where we had to impose a norm by the government of performing more than 20 pancreatoduodenectomies per year per center. And from 2004 to 2011, this caused over half of the centers to stop performing this procedure. And the Dutch Pancreatic Cancer Group was established. So we put our hospital systems for IHPBA under the loop and we really cut off the edges of the diamond to get higher quality. And the basic tools we used for that was actually to our advantage, a small and densely populated area that was mentioned earlier. And we have the advantage of full-time PhD students after their MD that perform the research for 3 to 4 years. And the healthcare funding is actually incentivizes small centers to refer patients to large academic centers because they are also paid on the diagnosis instead of the intervention alone. And then we had a very important Dutch secret that I will get into. That is this. That is actually reciprocal altruism. So what that is that you disadvantage yourself as a benefit for the entire group with the expectation that later on a member of the group will do the same for you. And this way you can travel much further, as we see in migrating geese. What's really important with that is that you have a rotating leader and that there are no cheaters. So how did we establish this in the Netherlands? So in the Netherlands, the color orange is really important. This will make people come together, eat bitterballen, and therefore we believe that together we can accomplish much more, namely a much greater party than you could ever imagine. And what's very important in the Netherlands is democracy as well, so having a rotating board and establishing that group feeling. So how did we establish this in our way of working in research? Well, first of all, the group feeling is established by promoting or actually standardizing a quarterly meeting where we discuss research proposals and also some results. And then we have also the annual meeting where we discuss all results and all progress so far of the study group. And also very importantly in these meetings are that the scientific committees first go through the proposals to assess them and see if they are viable for the group. Then another meeting that we have is after each conference or congress, there is also like an evaluating meeting of what we actually did as the Dutch group. It's kind of a niche for us, but this is my professor talking yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't know because of the jet lag. And then building our system, how did we do that? We have a daily management, which is more vital than you could imagine. They do social media, the website, the newsletter, and we have thus the rotating board every 2 to 4 years, I believe. Then how is one multi-center study implemented throughout this system? First, with a proposal, a draft of like 1 or 2 pages, it goes into the multidisciplinary meeting to establish the idea and design the trial protocol later. First, we establish which authors are involved so that there can be no cheating. So what are the clinical results in our way of working? Currently, we are working with 17 centers, which will, I think soon will be 15 centers. And the mortality right now is a little bit more than 3%. And the major morbidity rate is 28% for pancreatoduodenectomy, all these data. What you see is a tiny correlative effect of volume, where higher volume centers have lower mortality. Then, for research, we have 10 running RCT trials, we have 22 prospective trials, we have over 150 members, and we have 42 PhD candidates working full-time on research. 18 PhDs have been completed in this 10-year span. Of course, these are great results, but we also have some difficulties. For example, there is a lot of competition in the Netherlands for funding. So this causes some problems and some setbacks. For example, the funding of the PhDs is barely above the cost of living. And the minimally invasive pancreatoduodenectomy norm is also a point of discussion for the future, because you can imagine that if you perform 20 to 30% minimally invasive, and you have a center performing 40 pancreatoduodenectomies a year, how can you ever meet a norm of 20 minimally invasive pancreatoduodenectomies? You cannot. So how are we going to step into the future? And how are we going to change the workflow that I just mentioned? We have a lot of upcoming ideas for advanced trial logistics, because all these many trials we have running, we have to implement our conclusions in an evidence-based way to assess if they are working or not. So that is something we are working on. We are establishing a nationwide plan for funding, and we are expanding through the previously mentioned European Consortium on Minimally Invasive Surgery, and also the International Consortium. And one of the first publications is coming up really soon. And then the future goals of our group is actually to get our workflow and our secret of working together throughout the world. So the IHPBA meeting will be a very important factor for that. And we have the Dutch evening, that will be in the Dutch clubhouse, we call it. And of course, all the people here are invited. And we are establishing funding actions for to get more name and to get money flow for the researchers. In conclusion, our secret is reciprocal altruism for building a powerhouse of research. We went from 40 to 150 members in 10 years, and the competition for funding is always a challenge. Thank you for your attention.